Okay. It's on the old fabric.
Well, the story is that this is what the fabric looked like. And it was a pillow, and you'd assume that this was, we would have no idea from looking at this, which it's from the 1920s or 30s, but this is the inside, which was sealed off from the world. This part remained hidden all through the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 1990s. And so it's very interesting how beautiful the original fabric was compared to what it became. And I'm saying that this is symbolic, or it's a parable, or to show us what the past in all its aspects was like. We're looking at the past and we're thinking it looks like this with these stains and these rips and shreds. And meanwhile, in the hidden, when it looks like this. And so that's why I'm devoted to the past, really, is because I know that what we're seeing is not really it. And I feel that the past was never completed. What I'm doing is I'm actually turning this, taking the pillow, the destroyed pillow, and I'm turning it into a draft cushion that goes below the door. And this was the other side of the fabric. And at the time in the 20s, based on what color combination, you could have chosen the pinkish predominance or the whitish predominance. And these people in the 20s chose the red, the darker one. And so now I'm just going to turn this inside out, and the ruined, I'm not destroying it, the ruined remains on the inside, and we're going to be able to now experience the freshness of the other side. And but I think that it's basically symbolic of actually what the entire past is about. It's not just about this pillow and the fact that you can open up old pillows and find the original coloring. It's that the entire past has been worn out, abused, destroyed, but with interest we can still find it. We can find the original newness. I mean, basically, this is the newness. I mean, of course, they even revived this kind of decayed look, and people can find the decayed part of the pillow more beautiful than the shiny new inside. But, well, unless you have any questions, that's all I have to say.
Well, what I'm thinking about is the art of manifestation and metaphysics, and taking into account the book on history you read about how different, in the different periods of history, people want to destroy the past to, in a positive way, but because they're not evolved or educated, they can't seem to be able to integrate the past into the present. So how would you say you want to integrate the past into the present?
Well, I believe that mankind really needs to devote itself to higher pursuits than simply building houses and making pillows. But mankind it's necessary for mankind to make pillows and build houses. If there are wars and all the houses and pillows are destroyed. Also, without having a war, if you're constantly destroying the present in order, which is the past really, in order to create a new future, mankind is really wasting his time. It's almost as if mankind, because it becomes frustrated over its inability to evolve into higher pursuits, becomes frustrated because it can't go any further. So what mankind does is it destroys, with either a war or a social change, it destroys the present so that it then is forced to have to create a new future. Basically for busy work. I don't know, it's similar to being able to only be able to read simple books, and when you're presented with a more advanced book or a difficult book, basically your intelligence is not flattered because it's just an insult to your intelligence because you don't understand this higher level book. So instead you would just retreat into writing and making up more simple stories, and you would just hide that other book and maybe pretend that it didn't exist, the complicated book, because it's upsetting to realize that you're not as smart. This often happens in our development. I mean, I'm actually a little nervous about going into the school and studying Latin, Greek, because I feel as if I'm maybe not of the intellectual level to study that way, or that the elaborate studying required, that I'm not going to be able to keep up with the schedule of reading and all of this.
But the technology or the mechanics of studying a language and the time that would have to be devoted to that is very intense and might be the waste of your time as an intellectual, and your contribution may be not in the mechanics of studying it, or the technique of it at this point of the scholarship, the techniques of the scholarship. So hopefully you could work that out in terms of, I don't think you should make yourself wrong for not wanting to make that a priority, to throw all of your time into studying the technique of Latin or Greek, but you would have to study it adequately to be able to still talk about it in a scholarly or symbolic fashion.
Well, I thought about it this morning, and I thought I'm going to have to remove these beds from this room, and I'm going to have to turn this, the best room in my house, into a study. And I'm not going to be able to sew anymore. I just realized that I'm not going to be able to sew. And, I mean, I have been working on this pillow all morning, and I mean, certainly since 11 o'clock. And, I mean, it's sort of crazy when you think about it. You know, I must have been working on this little pillow for 5 hours, and I'm not even making it as well as I should, or as could be. But at this point, I'm almost finished with this darn thing. I mean, I'm not going to finish it today, but I certainly gave it a good start. See, I don't